Mr. Lumpkins. This is from Mr.
Mr.
Morrissey.
Who?
Mr. Morrissey.
Oh, okay. Thought we had a ninth candidate here. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Morrissey, if I am a CAO and I have to answer to my board, which are the voters of the city of Richmond, or my people in Churchill and the underserved in the community, I've seen where we have high-rises with tons of lawyers on Main Street, and I've looked at your resume, and you really don't have that much civil service experience. I've looked at your resume, and I would like to hire you, but I can't recommend you to my board because of your minimal resume in terms of working in City Hall. So my question to you is, you have been very active in the Afro-American community. However, some voters feel that it's more of an exploitation of the black community and very little service to the majority community. Maybe you found a niche, but again, when you have a large number of Afro-American lawyers, and I'm a small business person, and you impact other lawyers in town, my question to you again is very precise. What would you say to many of the voters who feel that you have exploited the Afro-American community?
Can you repeat that last sentence?
Mr. Morrissey, many voters
about
or
exploitation.
potential voters have said, and we've all walked the streets of Richmond, have said that, what would you say to convince them that you have not exploited the Afro-American community with very little civil service or pro bono work, but more related to large fees, also working to getting some of the drug dealers, et cetera, back on the street? Again,
I think I understand the question.
Okay.
Thank you, Lawrence. With regard to exploitation, I respectfully disagree with your premise. The end up.
It's time now.
It's okay.
Please turn off your cell phones.
I did turn it off.
That's okay.
you alleged.
That's okay. Lawrence, recently Marty Jewell said that of all of the lawyers in the city of Richmond that the NAACP turns to do pro bono work, they don't turn to anybody more frequently than Joe Morrissey. I have devoted more free hours of pro bono work representing people that have come to me by the NAACP, so I simply don't understand the premise of that question. With regard to civil service, I believe I've served 12 years in elective office, and I think it's more than every other member here on this dais combined. With regard to being asked by other entities to do work, there was a recent fiasco down in Petersburg dealing with water rates. Lawrence, you know what law firm they turned to straighten that out? Morrissey and Goldman.
Were you successful, sir?
I think we're on the way. Then, additionally, when the National Slave Museum had some trouble, and Doug Wilder turned to somebody, he turned to me and my law firm. I made 14 trips up with the governor up to Fredericksburg to work that out.
Were they successful, sir?
I think it's still ongoing, Lawrence. The point that you said is that I've been requested by a lot of different folks to represent them. So I respectfully disagree with your premise, but thank you for asking it.
Are you taking work away from Afro-American lawyers, sir?
I'm sorry?
Are you taking work away from small business Afro-American lawyers?
Well, let me just say this. with regard to African-American lawyers, when I became Commonwealth attorney a quarter of a century ago, I think that was before you began running for office, there was one African-American in the Richmond Commonwealth Attorney's office. It was the largest, I was 32 years old, it was the largest Commonwealth attorneys in the state. I hired 8 African-American attorneys to assist me. I nominated the first deputy Commonwealth attorney who was African-American. In my law office, I've run 2 successful law firms. We hire African-American lawyers. With regard to I take away business from folk, I imagine every time somebody hires me and doesn't hire another attorney, I necessarily take business away from them, but such is life.
Yeah, I met Mike Herring, and
We're
you're not
down-
Mike Herring.